Hey, you fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box Podcast. My name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
145.
Yes, it is.
One day, I shall come back.
Oh dear, we are in trouble, aren't we?
I've reversed the polarity of the neutron flow, so the TARDIS should be free of the force field now.
I have the advantage of being slightly ahead of you. Sometimes behind you, but normally ahead of you.
But the trouble with time travel is, one never seems to find the time.
Change, my dear. And it seems not a moment too soon.
Unlimited rice pudding, etc., etc.
A meteor storm, and the sky above us was dancing with lights. Purple, green, brilliant yellow, yes!
I'm the doctor, by the way. What's your name?
Rose.
Nice to meet you, Rose. Run for your life.
It's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
Just remember who's standing in your way. Look at the eyebrows. These are attack eyebrows. You can take bottle tops off with these.
Howdy do, Who fans. Have you had a cracking week? Fantastic week.
Fantastic.
A timey-wimey week. A good week all round, and that you've enjoyed.
A timey-wimey week. I like that. How's your week been? Very timey-wimey, eh? I'm going to say that works. They won't have a clue what I'm on about.
I was going to say, if someo's not a Who fan, it'd be so funny to see their reaction, wouldn't it? Oh, it's been a bit of a timey-wimey week, really.
I like that. I'm having that one.
And they're like, oh, right. I don't know if that's good or bad.
It would just be like that polite agreement of no idea what you're on about, so I'll just nod.
You just nod. Yeah. Okay. I think he means he's all right. So, Live the Land. Finish up with the old Monks trilogy.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun talking through that one.
I am looking forward to it. Yes, I think I mean I think I've gleaned an idea of what you might think of it. I don't know. I mean we never know. We try not to know, but
it's one of life's mysteries.
I'm going to be looking forward to that review when we get to it.
Yeah. Coming up sooner than that, we've got a few news items to speak about. One of them is I would say good news, depending on your point of view.
Yeah.
The other ones are very interesting and very, very, very good news.
Yeah.
So we've got bad or good, depending on your point of view. Then we've got good, and then we've got good and gooderer.
Good and gooderer, yeah. And a bit of merch. I think there's a nice bit of merch. Our Dalek's got something good this week, hasn't he?
Yeah. Dalek Tat.
Dalek Tat.
He's got something for us.
Good lad. Good it.
Before then, you've been all right, buddy? I see that you were on your travels again at the weekend.
I was mingling with the stars.
Yes, you went up to Birmingham, didn't you? You went to Collective-Value in Birmingham. What is it like up there?
I did. I'm not even going to attempt to do an accent because our listeners always tell me off. Yes, I did. I went to Collectomania 24 at Birmingham. And first time I've been to one of their events at Birmingham, actually. And it's kind of, it's not in Birmingham. It's like Birmingham International. So I left the travel arrangements right to the last minute and then realised that it wasn't really where I thought it was. But yeah, I had an absolutely wicked day. I just went on the Saturday. I think it was Saturday, Sunday, the actual event. But I just went on the Saturday, went up on the train. Got there a little bit late because there was train delays. So my day didn't get off to the great start because I missed they got the classic TARDIS photo shoot.
Yes.
The McCoy TARDIS console you can stand at. Well, that was the first thing I saw when I walked through the door. And I was like, oh, well, I'll get that now. I'll do it. It's right in front of me. And so I queued up for literally 2 minutes. And the guy was like, oh, no, that photo shoot's finished, mate. We're doing the Ghostbusters car now. I'm like, what? You doing it again later? Or he's like, nah, it's done. So I was like, oh, no. So I was like, oh, this day has not got to a good start. Train delayed, missed the TARDIS. But from there onwards, it was fantastic. I had a brilliant day. I met Kai Owen, old Reese from Torchwood.
Reese, yep.
First time I've met him. Really, really nice guy. Had a good little chat with him. A while back now, probably when we reviewed Talons of Weng Chiang, we were talking about Deep Roy, who played Mr. Sin. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And I was saying, oh, I'd love to meet him. And he was like, oh, well, he lives in the States, so good luck with that. And he's come over to do a few signings, this being one of them. So I was really chuffed to meet him.
Oh, cool.
He didn't have any Doctor Who picks, so I kind of regretted not printing one out to get signed, because I would have loved to have got a Mr. Sin pick signed. It's probably because there aren't any decent high-res pictures of it. But I actually, he was very limited in the pictures he had. He didn't even have any of the Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory ones, which I was surprised about, because, but yeah, so I got a Star Trek one signed, because he plays the little creature that Scotty runs around with in Star Trek. So I got one of them signed, because that really was the best of the picks he had. But it was just great to meet him, because as I said, I don't think he does much over here nowadays. But obviously the highlight of the day was I met the Barrowman, Mr. John Barrowman himself. Started with a photo shoot, got a really good, cool picture with him. You did have the option to pay £10 extra to go for a picture with him in his Captain Jack coat, which I didn't go for. I just went for the standard photo, because he was 45 quid and 55 with the coat. And I just thought, 45's a lot of money. I don't think I really want to push it to 55, because I want to get his auto as well, which is another blimmin' 45 quid. So I just went for the standard pick. I was very, very happy with it. But some of the guys I met with from Who Addicts and that, they got the one with the coat. And I have to say, when I did see it, I was a little bit jealous, because he was rocking the coat, as you can imagine.
Yes.
And then, there was a massive, massive queue for him all day to get his autograph. So they give you a ticket, don't they, and tell you to come back when they get to that batch number and stuff. So I kept going back and couldn't get in the queue. Finally got in the queue. So I met him quite late in the day. And by the time I got to him, all the decent photos had gone. I mean, he had about 4 pictures on the table. I think 2 were from, is he in Arrow? I don't watch Arrow, but I think something called Arrow. So he had some good high quality ones from that, and then the only 2 from Doctor Who that were left for him to sign were these, and I cannot tell you how bad quality they were. They were shocking. Absolutely shocking, because the Who Addicts guys had got theirs in the morning, so they'd got these really cool Torchwood pics signed of him holding the gun, and Captain Jack pics, and they were absolutely excellent. So I was like, that's the one I'm going to get that one when I finally get to his table. So I was a bit gutted. I was looking at these pictures, and when I say pixelated, when I say it looked like someone had screen grabbed a picture, cropped it, zoomed in, and then printed it off on a home computer, that's what I'm talking about. And I was like, there is no way on this earth I am paying 45 quid to get that signed. So luckily, just at that exact moment, as I was getting a bit stressy, thinking, no, this was I've got to get the auto. I was getting a bit stressy. I bumped into a mate. It was like, Ad, there's a stall over there. He's got some great pictures from Tortured. Just go and buy one. They're like £3. And I was like, has he? Right, okay. So we went over there. Long story short, managed to find a fairly decent picture of Captain Jack. Got back in the queue. Got to the Barrowman. And the first thing he says when he sees the picture is, oh, God, I hate that picture. Oh, man. And I was like, what? What's wrong with it? He goes, oh, it's I look awful in it. It was from a photo shoot where I was really tired. I didn't want to be there. Oh, I'll sign it anyway. But I was thinking, yeah, you will. I've just paid 45 quid. You will blooming sign it. So he signs it. But yeah, it's just the weirdest thing. He was just telling me how much he hated the photo. And he's like, so it was a bit awkward. And I said to him, oh, well, I said, I like it anyways. He's like, yeah, as long as you like it. And then I left and just walked away. And I did film the whole thing because I was vlogging the day.
Yeah.
And that was the one bit where my camera decided, because it was memory was full as always. It decided to crack up. So I got home and of course wanted to watch that bit again of him talking about the picture, and it wasn't on there. It was just sort of white void on the camera.
Oh, man.
But luckily, as I've gone back through the footage, I have got the very first part of it. So it's weird. It's as if the camera decided to crack up about 20 seconds into me meeting him. So I have got a bit of it of him on there, which is good. So I'll include that in the vlog. But yeah, it was great. So I was very pleased when I came out. I managed to get a good picture with him, good autograph. Who else did I meet? Yeah, Deep Roy, Kai Owen. Oh, and Tony Curran, who played Vincent in Vincent and the Doctor.
Oh, yes. Yep.
He was a bit of a last-minute choice for me because, again, the autos and that weren't cheap. So I was like, he's 20 quid. I would like to meet him, but, I've spent a lot. So I left it towards the end of the day to meet him. to see if I had any money left, basically, because like a hot dog was £10. So yeah, I had a little bit of money left. I thought, yeah, I'll do it, man. I'll do it. Again, he had one Doctor Who picture on his table, which really wasn't very good. So I went back to that stall, bought a nice one from that episode, got him to sign that. And I'm really glad I did, because he was a really, really nice guy. He was really, really chatty. Yeah, it was just a real nice sort of end to the day, really. You know what I mean? So I got a nice picture signed by him. So it was all really, really good.
That
really
sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it when you get home and you just spread out all your orders on the table and stuff. You're just like, oh, what a day, man. It was brilliant.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
So now I'm like hyped. I'm just, when's the next one? You know what it's like? As soon as you finish one, you're like, oh, when's the next one? Which will be probably LFCC, I think, which we're both going to, isn't it?
Probably, yeah.
In London, yeah.
Oh, no, we're definitely going, but I think that's probably the next one.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you missed old Colin. I think he was there on the Sunday, wasn't he?
He was there on the Sunday. I think he was there with Bonnie Langford, actually, because our good friend Adil Mahudium got a picture on that TARDIS set that I was talking about.
Yes.
Two of them, which looked really cool. So yeah, he was there on the Sunday, but I've met good old Colin a few times. So
what about Gemma Redgrave?
Oh yes, I did meet her. I forgot actually. Yeah, I did meet her. I got a professional photo shoot with her, which was good. And then I went back to get a photo, and again, her queue was massive all day. And the same thing with Barrowman. By the time I got there, the photos she had left, because again, I saw the guys who'd met her in the morning who'd got really cool pictures from like the Zygon invasion and stuff. By the time I got to her, she'd just got some really naff pictures left. And I said, oh, have you not got any of the other ones? And they were like, no.
The other ones.
So I didn't bother getting her autograph because I really didn't like the pictures. But I have got her autograph before, so you know, it wasn't a big deal. But yeah, I would have liked to have got one of the ones that Liv from the Who Addicts got a really good picture signed by her. That's the one I would have liked. But they'd all gone by the time I got there. So I don't know why they bother printing bad ones. Like I was saying, if they've got a good high quality print and it's quite clear that that's the best one and everybody's going to use it.
Yep.
Why don't they just print a load of that one? I mean, I don't even understand why they bother printing like really low res, blurry, awful pictures. What is the point?
Maybe because people won't complain and it's cheap to do.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's just cheap, isn't it? Yeah, but not when they're charging 45 quid for it.
Oh, no.
You know, but anyway, yeah, so I didn't get Gemma's autograph, but I did get a nice photo shoot picture with her. So I was chuffed with that. Yeah.
Sounds like a good day, buddy. Yeah.
It was good. It was good. It's great to meet up with everybody as well, as always. You know, it's always really good to meet up with people who listen to the show and some of my fellow YouTubers and stuff like that, and just hang out and stuff. Like a lot of these events, I didn't really get time to look around the stalls. I don't know if you find this, because we were saying about London, weren't we? The day goes so quick. You sort of go from photo shoot to trying to get an auto, and then I've got another photo shoot. And I didn't really get a chance to look around any of the stalls, but from what I did see, it was the usual stuff. Tat. Yep. Yeah. So, but I didn't really get much chance. There was some nice artwork I did see as I was going around, and there was a few cosplayers as well, so that was cool. But
nice.
So yeah, all in all, it was just a wicked day, mate. I can't wait for London. I really can't. Yeah, we were saying we might do the Saturday because it's going to be mad, and then do the Sunday and just chill out a bit and maybe get to look around some of the stalls and do. I think that might require a 2-day.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's a big, busy one, isn't it? The London one, yeah. So Saturday, get all the autographs and pics done. And then Sunday, just lay around.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's most of the people I want to meet at London Film and Comic Con are there on the Saturday, so that'd be good to get them done. And I think there's only perhaps one on the Sunday that I'm that bothered about, so that'd be quite nice. We can look around the stalls and just, you know, hang out with people. It'd be good, I think. Yeah, that'd be the plan anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, all in all, very good.
Nice one. Good times.
Yeah.
Pales in comparison to my week, mate.
What have you been doing?
Nothing.
Been to any shops?
Nothing at all.
No?
Real quiet one for me.
Oh.
So I've been pretty much at home, chilled out, bit of gardening.
Actually, I had to do the lawn on Sunday. That was my, because I'd had my day of freedom, so Sunday I had to make up for it by doing the lawn.
I did say it pales in comparison.
Yeah. I was hoping
reading.
you'd been back to the Who shop, actually. I was thinking he must have been to the Who shop by now.
No.
I want to know if they've got the malice in there, in their little cabinet.
No, probably won't go there for another few weeks yet.
All right.
I tend to drop in there when we're just sort of over that way.
I've got a vision of the next time you go in there, you coming out with Alpha Centauri Robber Harrop figure. That's how I got a vision of you coming out with it, and Nat, your partner, being like, "What the hell is that?"
That's exactly what she would say as well.
She would. Yeah. I think anybody who hasn't seen that episode or doesn't know Doctor Who would look at that creature and say, "What the hell is that?" Yeah. Which is why I'm looking forward to him being on the shelf for when people come round and seeing him there. Yeah.
Have a look at the shelf. Why don't you?
Why don't you? Don't touch it.
Yeah.
But have a look at the shelf.
That's the rule. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
When they reach for it, no.
No. No. God,
this guy's really boring. He's got all this cool stuff on the shelf. We're not allowed to play with it.
You should see my face when my sister brings her little boy around. It's pure horror. I'll have to pretend not to. I'm like, he's fine. Don't touch that. Oh, he's fine.
He's all right. He won't.
He's all right. Put that down.
What was that?
Yeah, on edge the whole time.
You got a whole shelf worth of Robert Harrop and some other stuff just being smashed.
It's funny though, because you must find this as well. Like, when they've gone, I find things all over the house, but like hours later. So like I went to shut the window and there's like a submarine radio on the windowsill. I'm like, what? Where did he even find that? And where's that? What's that doing there? You know, just find random stuff that they've picked up and plonked where they think it should be. Yeah. Canine down the back of the sofa.
Yep. The struggle is real.
Yeah.
It is real because you do find things littered around the house and you think those little beeps.
Little cherubs.
Yeah, what have they done? But yes, I think we'll have to get our tickets soon for Comic-Con London because in the last few weeks, I didn't realise, but they've announced a few more people. I think the sort of, I'm not sure how to rank these people really, like highest, like in terms of stardom or popularity or whatever. Mm. I think the person at the top of the tree when I last looked was Christopher Lloyd, Back to the Future.
Yeah, they've added a few good ones since. I mean, I was quite excited they added John Cleese, although the author's a bit expensive. And Adam West got added, which I was chuffed about. But I think he's like £85, and I'm afraid I won't be stretching to that. I think I might have said I won't be doing Barrowman because of the price, but 45 really is my absolute limit. I won't pay over that, I don't think.
Well, if you pay £95, you'll have a pick with him with the old Batmobile.
With the Batmobile, yeah. I mean, they said it's his last appearance or something, don't they? Is that they're billing it? So
something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I was tempted because he's a bit of a. I mean, you must have watched some of the classic Batman.
Brilliant.
They're hilarious. Yeah.
Robin, we're having a moment to lose.
Holy abomination! Yeah, they were classic. So, they were brilliant. But I don't think I'll be meeting him.
Holy
I don't know
about you. McCoy, are you going to get your photo with him on the TARDIS console?
Oh, I might do, yeah, if he doesn't cancel, because he's been cancelling quite a lot in the last few weeks. The Showmaster events. I don't know, mate. He must have got a job because I just noticed that he was due to appear at quite a lot of the upcoming Showmasters events, and last couple of weeks he's cancelled most of a few of them, but not London yet. He's still on there for London, isn't he? So.
Yes.
I might get him on the console. That'd be a good one.
I think it's £30.
Ooh,
if memory serves, for the Saturday. Yeah, £20 for just a photo with him. £30 if you want it on the TARDIS console.
Do you remember last year when Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, and Paul McGann were doing like a joint shoot on the green screen? So basically, they have the actual TARDIS console, like a prop of it, and then they have a green screen and they put in the backdrop. But Colin, do you remember? Colin wore a green shirt. They caused absolute mayhem because he was just ahead in all the photos. They were like, "Oh, sorry, we're gonna have to stop." And
I think he had to get he had to go and get another shirt, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he had to change or put a coat on or something. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, he's
good old green screen.
Yeah, he's not been in the game for a while, is he? He's not aware of the these things you've got to take into account. You can't just have a floating head.
Can't just have a floating Colin head. It'd be like, trying to think what that's. What's that thing called? Dimensions in Time, is it? Where they got the heads all floating in space. Yeah, it'd be a bit freaky. Ugh. Yeah. Good old Colin.
So if you're going to go to any of our listeners are going to rock up to London Comic Con, we'll see you there.
Yes, indeedy.
So Saturday, we'll be running around a lot. But Sunday, we'll just be like, where's the pub?
Yes, and it's I have warned people, because I said, if you see me on the Saturday, I do get quite stressy at these things. I like to get everything done.
He does.
So if I look a bit,
yeah.
if my cheeks are a bit puffed out and red, and I'm looking a bit frazzled, maybe it's best to say hello on the Sunday. Yeah.
I remember
I'll
last
be much
year's.
more chilled on the Sunday.
Yeah, I remember last year's Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So I can't handle this.
No, it's
Like,
just you
all
have to
right,
be
all
in
right.
certain places at certain times, don't you? It's you've got to get it done.
Yeah, do you want to go and get a drink? No, I can't because I'm going to get this person. All right, dude, all right.
I won't be wearing my Tom Baker scarf this year, though, just in case Peter Davison gets added.
Yeah, you don't want to get a smack across the chops from old...
I'd love it if he did show Masters. He stays well clear of them, doesn't he? I don't know why.
I think it's the London thing.
It is.
Yep.
Yeah. He's doing one in Bedford, I saw, because I do check to see where he's doing, because he's up there as one of my fave doctors, and I've only got one pic with him, and I've got about 4 really bad camera photos with him they're terrible, where he's looking grumpy and they're blurry and whatever. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to get another decent shot with Davison, but yeah, he don't seem to do much London ones.
No, he's quite active. He obviously does a few over in the US with.
He does a lot in the
people.
US.
Yep, but he does do quite a few here. He just steers clear of London. I just don't think he likes the because they're so big and busy. It's not his cup of tea.
No, fair enough. Yeah,
fair enough. There we go. I think we've waffled on for long enough.
I think we have.
I reckon we should land it.
Let's do it.
Do some news. So you might consider this good news. You might consider it bad news, depending on your point of view. Patrick Ness has now said that he will no longer be writing any more episodes of Class.
Ooh.
Now, this still doesn't confirm that Class is cancelled.
No.
It's all but dead in the water, let's be honest. I don't think there's much of a comeback from this. When you've got the creator and the head writer and like the Moff equivalent for Class, when he says no, it's time to go. That's probably a safe bet that we're not going to see any more Class. However, we still haven't had a proper confirmation from the BBC to say that Class will not continue. However, Patrick Ness has said he decided a while back that with unbelievable regret, I won't be writing any more Class, even if a season 2 moves ahead. It's been the most amazing experience. I loved it. I'm so proud of the show and what we made. My heart just burst with happy. He said, but we should be filming right now. With the new cycles of Who, we'd pretty much need to be on the air even before 2019, but we're not, and that's just TV, and that's how it goes. He says he's not bitter at all. He said, an amazing experience. Huge thank you to BBC Three and BBC America for their enthusiasm. BBC American particularly absolutely loves the show, which is true to say. I think our US friends have enjoyed Class more than we have over here as a whole.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, because I think we said when we were reviewing it did seem to be sort of aimed a bit at the American market in terms of like the style of it, and the whole going to prom thing in episode 1 and all that. So I'm not really surprised that it's gone down a bit better over there.
Yeah. He does go on to say, if we had got a second season, Weeping Angels, Civil War, and Planet Quill has a dangerous son.
Oh.
Yeah. Charlie and Matthews. Shirtless wood chopping.
Oh.
He says, yeah, I'm really sad in my career, but it's the right choice. So it all sounds like Class has wrapped up.
It sounds to me that that's just his way of saying basically there isn't going to be any more.
Yeah.
It seems a strange thing to say. It's almost, I'm not saying throwing toys out the pram, but it's a bit like, right, I'm not writing any more then. Because I don't know, why would you rule that out? Who knows? Like in a couple of years' time, he might want to do some more books, or don't know, why do you know what I mean? Why draw the line under it so so
Yeah.
prominently. I mean, I get it if he's saying basically he's saying he's proud of the show, but it's not done well, and this is his way of saying there probably won't be any more.
Yeah.
I guess.
It sounds like they've missed the window as well. It sounds like if they want to, put it out there in between when Who is going on, then they really need to have had everything done and be filming now. And that's sounds like not even any scripts have been finished or anything. So it does sound like it's. I mean, we're still waiting on the Beeb as usual to say it's officially been canned. But yeah, it's done.
It's done. I mean, I am holding back a little because, I mean, our regular listeners will know my feelings on Class. And my feelings are that I wanted to enjoy it and didn't. It's as simple as that. I mean, I just didn't enjoy it, and I really did want to. It wasn't a case of me being down on the show, and I often feel bad if I criticised it because, a while back when we were talking, you were saying, they put a lot of work into it, whether we enjoyed it or not, which always sticks in my mind every time I start to lay into it. Because, I met Patrick Ness, who was a very nice man. And I met a couple of the cast and they were very nice. So I don't want to lay into it too much because I appreciate that those guys put their heart and soul into it. But it really, really wasn't for me. So I'm not at all sad that it's not, that it looks like it's dead in the water. But I'm sad for those guys because I know they would love to do more, and I know there are people out there that enjoyed it. I see a lot of Twitter comments and Facebook stuff. People really did get into it. So for them, I'm sorry, but for me personally, I'd rather just forget about it. It didn't do anything for me at all. I don't really. I mean, I disliked it so much that I don't really like to even associate it with Doctor Who. If I'm 100% honest, it just didn't fit into the Doctor Who universe for me. Personally.
Yep.
But yeah, for those that did enjoy it, it's bad news.
Yeah, I think you and I had almost the same feelings on it when we because we did the mini review of each episode, didn't we?
Yeah.
When it went out, and I think there was only one episode that we gave it anything higher than a 5. I think
the first episode I slightly enjoyed. Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, it didn't get off to a great start when you relegate it to an online only channel. And then you find out that it only grabbed, a tiny portion of the overall viewership of that online channel.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you're not off to a great start when they did put it on proper TV on BBC Two, didn't they put it on at ridiculous, like 11:30 at midnight?
It got shoved away in an absolutely graveyard slot. I mean, it wasn't, to be fair, it wasn't given the best chance by the BBC. I mean, the promotion was terrible, the time slots were terrible, but at the end of the day, it didn't perform on the iPlayer where it was initially premiered, and then because of that, it got put in a graveyard slot, and of course didn't get hardly any viewing figures. So it was, it wasn't treated very well by the BBC as much as as much as I didn't like it. I have to acknowledge that it wasn't given a particularly good chance in the first place. But for me, the biggest problem, I mean, putting all that aside, the biggest problem for me was just the actual stories and the dialogue and
the characters.
I really struggle with it. I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons that it didn't succeed, is what I'm trying to say. And some of that was, down to the BBC or down to the promotion, down to the time slots. There was a lot of that is to blame. But I think, and this is probably quite hard for Patrick Ness to admit, is I think a lot of it was also down to the fact that a lot of it wasn't very good. It had potential, and there were some great ideas in there, but the writing I didn't think was very good at all. No. Especially some of the dialogue. I mean, some of it was shockingly laughable. But maybe that's because I'm just a bit older. Perhaps a teenage audience can connect more to the dialogue. Maybe it's an age thing. I don't know.
Possibly. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one. I know that Patrick Ness was very unhappy about the scheduling of it when it did go to TV. He wasn't happy that he said he was just baffled by the scheduling at the BBC, which you can understand.
I can see it from his point of view. Yeah. I really can. Yeah.
Even if you if it would be better to have it on BBC Two on an earlier time slot rather than BBC One. The graveyard shift.
I think, I don't know. Me personally, I don't think it should have gone out before 10 o'clock.
No.
I think a 10 o'clock time slot would have been perfect for it, because it was quite graphic in terms of the violence. I mean, that was the other thing I felt quite uncomfortable with in terms of it being a Doctor Who spin-off, because yes, Torchwood had blood and guts and violence, but I always thought they trod a very careful line. I mean, there were times when it was a bit gross, but it was normally sort of done almost for comedy, not comedy effect, but I don't know, it didn't really shock me much in Torchwood. There was no moments where I really thought, oh, that's horrible, whereas in Class there were a few moments, and I'm thinking particularly of when Quill had that thing taken out of her eye, and I mean, that was really graphic.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff like that. So I don't think it could have. I think 9 o'clock might have been a bit too close to the bone for it. But 10 o'clock on BBC Two on a Friday night or something, I think would have been good. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it's done. What is done is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we probably won't see what were those things that popped up nearly every week? The fire people that I can't remember them.
Exactly. I can't even remember what.
No, I mean, that's the other thing that annoyed me. I was thinking, these guys again, you know, it just, yeah. Anyway, it's done.
It's done. Yeah.
It's done. Let's go on to some other news. Some good news, actually. An original prop from 1960s Doctor Who has been found. Amazingly, and it is an original Ice Warrior mask, and he looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been very carefully restored by a team led by Mike Tucker. Mike Tucker, if you don't know, is an absolute legend when it comes to restoring these things. He was a model maker on the original show as well, so they've done a great job restoring it, but as you can imagine, over the years he's taken a bit of a battering. So it's amazing what they've managed to do. I mean, he's still got quite a bit missing from around the back of the head. But he's as complete as can possibly be. And they've sort of, matched paint colours to try and get it back to as close to how it would have been back in the day as possible. And he looks cool, I think. I don't know what they're going to do with him. They haven't said if he's going to go on display somewhere, but I assume he will at some point.
I hope so, because he looks really cool, and it's amazing.
It does look good.
He's survived for the most part since 1967. So I'm not sure. There's the company. So Mike Tucker, it's part of Toy Box Treasures.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Is the company that that's done the restoration and so on. But I think when they first got hold of it, it had been completely. Well, it was obviously very dusty. The paint was flaking away and the colour had faded, and there was also that to match the colours as well and remove some, because somebody had sprayed silver paint over the eyepieces.
Oh, right.
For some reason, and it just looked a bit beat up, and as you would expect with an old prop or headpiece. It's a headpiece, isn't it, that an actor would have worn back in, crikey, what, Pertwee's era, I suppose? No,
before that, so
Troughton,
I think it's from the actual original Ice Warriors back in 1967, and then they believe it was also seen in Curse of Peladon, I think.
Okay,
so,
yeah. So long old time. It's been just sat there. I don't know where it's been, but so they've restored the original orange eye lenses, and they've put the green skin back to its greenness and all that. So this is awesome. I love it when things like this turn up and you think, wow, there's still elements of classic Who out there in the world that haven't been destroyed or lost or whatever, and it's just there ready to be sort of restored and enjoyed. So if only there was a big place dedicated to Doctor Who props that would be around a bit longer, that people could enjoy it, eh?
Yes,
Something
if only.
Like yeah.
If only. Yeah. Hopefully it'll end up there one day.
Yeah. What issue of Doctor Who magazine are we up to at the minute? Because there is going to be an interview and some nice pictures of this in issue 513. Is that the next one, or is that current?
No, that's the one that's literally just come out. The one that's got two covers. It's got like a Mondas Cyberman cover and Empress Ice Warrior.
Oh,
woman.
right, yeah.
So you got the choice of two covers. It's that one. There's some nice pictures in there. Haven't actually read the interview yet, I must confess, but yes, it looks good. I'm interested to know where it was actually found.
Yeah, me too.
Presumably they go into that in the interview, but I haven't read it. Anyone who's ever seen an original prop from Doctor Who from the, if one of a better word, the classic series, I don't know about you, mate, but I'm always surprised at how delicate and cheap they are or made. And, I just think, God, like when I've been to auctions and I've actually gone up to the real props and they look so flimsy, and I'm like, God, and they reuse these over and over and over again. It's amazing what they got out of these props back in the day. I mean, you've only got to look at the TARDIS prop, how battered that was, and they just carried on using them. So it's amazing this thing has survived over the years. So yeah, good to have it back.
Good stuff. Finally up in news, some quick chat on the ratings for Pyramid at the End of the World. So we climbed up the list a bit more.
Right, it's all good.
Yeah, so the week ending the 28th of May. So this is exactly a week after Pyramid at the End of the World went out, and we've soared up the list. So the week before that, which would have been, what was the episode before this one?
Extremis.
Yeah. So Extremis, we were down sort of number 23, I think, or 22, something like that.
Yeah.
And now we've climbed up to number 14 in the top 30.
Well, that is good news, because this is the overnights for this one were the one that was being touted as the worst since Battlefield, wasn't it? It was like it's the worst overnight since Battlefield. So it's good that it's had a bit of a turnaround.
It is, yeah. So 5.79 million viewers for the week. And we did beat a large chunk of Emmerdale. We beat Country File, which is good.
Hey.
We beat the Antiques Roadshow, which is good. We beat all of the news channels because we've got a big election coming up in the tomorrow. Over the last week or so, the news channels have been ramping up their coverage. So no surprise that a lot of news programs are in the list, but they're near the bottom, so screw them. But we still need to beat East. We haven't got any. We've not moved past any Corrie or EastEnders yet. So maybe the series finale will do that. But yeah, we have climbed the list, and we're in the top half now. Just
that's good. Let's hope that last week's The Lie of the Land does the same, because currently the overnight for The Lie of the Land is the worst overnight figure in the show's history.
Yes,
apparently, which is really worrying. So hopefully that'll bump up too. So we'll let you know next week.
We will.
Yeah, it's because we're all at Collectomania. That's why no one was watching it.
It was all the Brummies.
It was funny though, because we were all saying, "Are you going to get back in time for Doctor 2?" And everyone was like, "No, I won't get back in time." No, and I was the same. I was like on the train thinking, "Should I try and get it on iPlayer?" No, I haven't got any signal. Forget it.
I'm surprised we haven't seen any more of the special audio versions that they did. For Knock Knock.
Yeah,
we had that binaural edition where you had to have your headphones with iPlayer, and it was really cool. I was hoping they were going to continue that, but because some of these episodes would have been good for that.
Yeah, that's true. This week's might be good for that with the Ice Warriors. If you could have them hissing down your neck, that might be quite good.
Hissing down your neck.
Yeah. So it would be cool to get some more of those, wouldn't it?
It would. Let's speak to somebody at the BBC.
Let's have a word in someone's shell.
Yeah, now that Class has been canned, we might have a few extra pounds knocking around that would have been earmarked for that. We can use that to.
Yeah.
That's going to do for news. Shall we get Mr. Tat in and see what he's got?
Yeah, get Dalek Tat in.
Merch corner. Merch corner. Merch corner.
I don't know whether to be impressed or disgusted.
It's a bit rubbish, but it's pretty. It's very pretty.
Adam.
Yes, Gary.
You like steelbooks, don't you?
I love a steelbook.
We love a steelbook. So good news. Very good news. Series 2 is getting the steelbook treatment as Series 1 received a month or so earlier. So we all said this, didn't we? When Series 1 came out, everybody said, we really hope that they continue this and that the other series get the steelbook treatment, and they haven't disappointed.
No.
It would be a bit of a kick in the chops if they stopped it here, admittedly. So I'm trying not to jinx it, but it does look good. I think the sales from Series 1 have did pretty well. So they've put their hands in their pocket. They've done some nice artwork. I think it was Lee Binding that did this, the same for Series 1.
It looks very similar in style, doesn't it?
Yeah, I saw his tweet the other day. And I'll tell you what, they just look. And it's in the same style as well. So I'm hoping that Lee does the artwork for the others so that they all match.
Yes, that would be nice.
That would be awesome. So, Series 2, and it's got some lovely artwork on the front. We've got the 10th Doctor, Mr. Tennant, with Rose, with Billy Piper on there. And on the back, we've got this very cool sort of explosion piece with Cybermen and Daleks there. It looks very cool. The inside, I'm not too hot on, to be honest. It's got one of those not so great promo photos that they...
I'm not as over enamored with that. Yeah,
they should have done a bit more. They should have just used a bit more artwork.
It's just Tennant's pulling a weird face in that picture, isn't he?
He is, yeah, and Billy Piper's standing sort of beside him, sort of side on. But the problem is, it's a very poorly taken photo. The lighting's very bad, and the background's not brilliant. However, you do get some art cards with this one.
They love their art cards, the BBC, don't they?
They love them, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, they've got to use up their print budget somehow. So you get 4 of these art cards, and so 2 of them are just the same as the front and the back cover, and then another one is a Dalek on its own, and the other one, the 4th one, is a Cyberman on its own. So price-wise, 35 squids if you order from Amazon. Now, this did happen with Series 1. It went out for the first few days at 35 quid, but then Amazon dropped it to 24.99. Yes. That hasn't happened so far. So I remember when this got announced, I jumped on and pre-ordered it, and I thought that'd be cool. They'll drop it down in a few days, but they haven't yet. So could be. Did you say, Adam, because I wasn't aware of this, did you say that Series 1 was an exclusive to Amazon?
Yes, it was, and this one isn't, which actually is good news, because that means they've got a bit more competition when it comes to price. So hopefully that should... I'm trying to think now. Does that work against us or for us? Because does that mean... No, it should work for us. It should mean that there's more competition, so they should hopefully bring the price down, shouldn't they? I would think.
Hopefully. Yes.
Hopefully, yes, because you're right. The first Steelbook was exclusive to Amazon, so they had the monopoly on it, and they could have really charged what they like. So, I hope it does come down, because I am loving these Steelbooks, and as soon as this went up on the site, I was like, right, got to get it. I haven't pre-ordered it yet. Actually, I am waiting for the price to come down. You said it comes out in July, didn't you?
July the 3rd.
July the 3rd.
It's released, yeah. And so Series 1 has now gone back up to $34.99 on Amazon.
Right.
But apparently that's because they're sort of coming down to the last few units now. So that's sort of coming close to sold out. So they want to make as much out of that as possible. But Series 2, I'm hoping it's going to drop down to $24.99.
Yeah, it's about what I'd want to pay. Yeah.
We'll have to just monitor it. We'll get to a few days before and it's still 35. Don't know. See, the trouble these things are is now I've got the first one. The second one is a given. I can't just not have it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Maybe that's why they're not. Yeah, I'm exactly the same. Yeah. Maybe that's why they're thinking they can charge a bit more for it. But I'm with you. I'll end up getting it, whatever. But I do hope it comes down in price.
Dirty.
Yeah, naughty. This is naughty.
So jump onto Amazon, just do a search for it. Doctor Who Series 2 Steelbook or Blu-ray Steelbook, whatever, and you'll see it on there.
Yes.
That's merch. And
thank
news.
you, Dalek Tat.
Thank you very much. Now get out. He's already kicked him out.
He's already gone, actually. He's left ages ago.
Well, it knows now. It knows not to hang around because it's just going to get abused until it goes. So I can see him just wheeling off, shaking as they did.
In the Remembrance era.
The Remembrance era, shaking all over the place. Yeah. So that's going to do for news and merch. Adam, my good fellow.
Yes.
Let's wrap this up. What are we doing this week?
Let's do it. So, third part of the Loose Monk trilogy, The Lie of the Land.
I woke up and the monks were here and they'd always been here. All that we believe now is a lie. I want to speak to her.
All you have to do is find whoever opened the doors to the monks and just kill them. I'm sorry your +1 doesn't get a happy ending.
All anyone's seen of the Doctor in the last 6 months are those broadcasts he does.
I have joined the monks.
Whoa! Doesn't that sound exciting?
Whoa. So, The Lie of the Land. This one was written by Toby Whithouse. Clearly overseen by the Moff.
I was going to say, are we sure? It did not feel like a Toby Whithouse script at all, did it? No. It's the whole way through I kept thinking, are you sure the moth isn't? Wow. He's hovering in the writer's room behind him again, and he just hovering over their shoulder going, can I just change that, Toby? But it's weird because he was co-credited on the last one, wasn't he? But he's not co-credited on this. But
yeah, he doesn't feel like it, though. Yeah,
no, it did not. I'm sure he had his little sticky fingers in the pie.
Yeah. Maybe Peter Harness said, you know what, I'm not going to put my 100% of myself on that one. We can put the moth on there as well. But yeah. So Toby Whithouse apparently wrote this one. It was directed by Wayne Yip, and the usual 45 minutes long. And plot is thus: we pick up. You see, this is another thing that I don't get. This was marketed. Well, I say marketed. It was banded around as this was a loose trilogy.
Yeah.
But loose is anything but the word to describe this, because it literally, all 3 episodes are very, they pick up where the last one left off, very interconnected. And it's basically a film.
Yeah, they're not loose trilogies at all. I really don't get where they were coming from with that.
In my mind, right, this was their shot at making a Doctor Who feature film, because you could release these 3 episodes all cut together as a film, couldn't you?
You could, yes.
They wouldn't, but
no. Sorry, they could. I was about to say something, and then I realised it'd give away my thoughts on the episode, I'll hold back just a little longer.
Okay, so they could have done it. So it does seem strange that they would throw in this kind of 3-parter mid-series and say it's they're individual stories, but they're kind of linked together. You got the monks in there, but that's just rubbish. It's a very definite intended 3-parter. So we pick up where Pyramid at the End of the World left off. The monks, so Bill at the end of that one asked for the monks' help. They restored the Doctor's sight. Since then, the entire world is now run by the monks. They're controlling everybody with this sort of mind control that the statues are giving off. It's a bit like a really bad sort of BT Mobile advert, really. So all these sort of phone masts are disguised as statues, and they're controlling everyone's mind. Bill and Nardole, they still remember what's going on, so they haven't been mind wiped. But so they track the Doctor down. Supposedly he's joined the monks, but it's a bit of a little test for Bill. We have this very, we'll get onto it, but we have this sort of pseudo regeneration scene. And then from that point on, it's just about hunting down the big reset button.
Yeah,
pretty much, and which it's done in quite a nice way. Bill really puts herself into this one, and she sort of makes a bit of a sacrifice. Everything gets put back as if by magic at the end. Everyone's happy. It's all done, and then we're off on our next adventure with the Ice Warriors in the next one. So, what did you think, Adam, to this?
I thought, what a very disappointing conclusion to a story that had ramped up. I didn't hate it. It was perfectly watchable. I did get annoyed at the ending. I thought the ending was just ended. It just wrapped up. The monks I was going to swear that they just left. For me, the ending frustrated the hell out of me. I was just like, you're kidding me. That's it? Seriously? That is it? So I found it a watchable episode. I didn't sit there and hate it like, say, The Forest of the Night or something like that. I didn't get that, there wasn't that feeling of total disappointment. But I was just so underwhelmed overall by it as a conclusion to this. And it is a 3-parter. I don't care whether they call it a loose trilogy or not. It's a 3-parter. Yep. This was the final, to that 3-parter. And yeah, it was just it just was so disappointing in terms of how they brought it all together and wrapped it up. I mean, they just left at the end. It was I couldn't believe it. I was just like, you're joking. And the monks did absolutely nothing in it. Like, they've been really sort of ramping up this creepiness, the scariness of the monks. I mean, I said last week how great it was when we finally got to see how powerful they are when they were turning people to sand. I was like, okay, you don't mess with these guys. They didn't do anything this week apart from breathe some bad breath on someone on the street at one point. I don't even think they were in it more than 2 minutes. It was, I think if I was to describe this episode, I'd say frustrating, underwhelming, and a real missed opportunity. I'm just frustrated by it because I kind of enjoyed some of it. I kind of enjoyed it, watching it, but just, left me, as you can probably tell by my voice, just so frustrated by the end of it. So, that's where I am with it.
Not good.
What about you? You loved it, I expect. You loved it.
My feeling is I was extremely disappointed.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Because for two reasons. One is that they touted a lot of big themes in these three stories.
Yeah.
So we had the whole, this is interesting. There's this really powerful, seemingly unstoppable group of monsters that the Doctor's never seen before. This is amazing, because the Doctor's pretty much seen everything. So this is really cool. How's the Doctor going to handle this? And then, like you say, at the end, they just weren't really around. And they all got sort of stopped really easily in the end. And we had the whole thing about the Doctor's sight going, and that came back nice and easy, and there wasn't sort of much else going on. We had the Doctor's regeneration scene, which drove everybody potty in the trailers.
Yeah.
But that had just a very strange vibe about it and didn't go anywhere. So there was all these themes that were, and then we had, the initial thing with the vault, and that was a big letdown, how that was revealed. So we've had all these big themes and ideas, and they just sort of fallen flat a lot of the time.
Just fizzled out, haven't they? Just fizzled out to nothing, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And the other thing, the two things that really bothered me was this big thing at the end that's such a cop-out for a lot of... I hate it when TV programs do this, where at the end it was
what you're going to say.
It was all, reset back to normal, as if nothing's happened. So
love saves the day.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's okay, but it just makes the whole thing just seem like there was no consequence to any of it. It just seems irrelevant. What, the whole thing is just hit the reset button, everything's done. Just ignore everything you've seen because, it's irrelevant, And the second thing was how they got to that conclusion that that's how they defeat the monks. Instead of just the Doctor having that really cool detective streak about him and finding out what's going on, just goes up to Missy and says, have you heard of these things? And she's like, oh yeah, them. You just do this.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Right, okay. So, the biggest hand-holding exercise we've ever seen in Who, right there. It's like this massive threat to the Earth. And we've spent the last 2 episodes trying to find out who they are, how you defeat them. They seem quite threatening, the consequence of their, of the Earth ending is real. Like you said, they obviously mean business and you don't mess with these guys. And then in episode, or part 3, should I say, Miss is just like, oh yeah, I've seen them before. All you've got to do is this. And it's not a very nice way of doing it because essentially Bill, at that point, we thought had to die, which we knew that she wouldn't because she's in all the other episodes. So that's another thing. It's like, it just seemed like it just seemed very un-Toby Whithouse to do that.
It didn't feel like a Toby Whithouse script in the slightest. No, it really didn't.
No, that's why I said it feels like the Moff is all over it. In my mind, this is a Moff episode.
Well, it certainly had that vibe. I mean, if I didn't know who wrote it, I would have just said straight away the Moffat. We don't know. I can't blame him because he's not on the writing credits, but that's how it feels to me and clearly to you. Mm-hmm. It's just the fact that the monks they're such a great creation. Yes, they're a little bit similar to the Silence in terms of, this creepy thing that puts his hand out, but they are such a great creation and they were really properly scary. And they are just so wasted in this episode. Like I said, I think we barely see them. I enjoyed this a lot more on the first watch, I have to say, because on the first watch, you're going along with a roller coaster of, what's happening now? Where are we going? Mm-hmm. When I watched this again yesterday, literally the whole episode just fell apart in front of my eyes. Do you know what I mean? Because like on a first watch, you're like, oh, this is the regeneration bit. What's happening? Oh, okay, right, yeah. All right, the monks, you know, they've got to do the head thing, and but yeah, once you know all this stuff, and every single thing is like a false. How can I put it? It's like a build up, and then it's just all a bit like the regeneration. It's all a big build up to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That this episode is just constantly that. When I watched it again for a second time yesterday, it really, really just fell apart in front of my eyes. I was thinking, God, you know, without the sort of without the excitement of not knowing what comes next this episode, there is nothing to this episode. They just wander into the spaceship at the end and all that stuff, into the pyramid, I mean. And it really, really, I'm just so frustrated by it. It could have been brilliant. We could have seen those monks on the streets doing their thing, and it could have been so good, you know. And another thing as well that we've said every episode up until this point, we've said has been so visually brilliant. Now, I don't know if they run out of budget at this point, but the CGI and special effects in this episode were dreadful. Thankfully, there wasn't too much of it, but like the pyramid at the end of the street, I mean, it just looked like something out of a cartoon. You know, the production values weren't great this week. The main saving grace for this episode for me is the performances. I'll give it that. The people in it are acting their socks off and trying to make the best that they can of what they've been given, especially Pearl Mackie. So performance-wise, fantastic. But production-wise and script-wise, just, not good, in my opinion.
No, I read you, mate. I agree. And I think for another episode where, for me, Pearl Mackie was just brilliant.
She's excellent in this. She really, really brings the episode up.
Yeah. Capaldi was great, as usual.
Yeah.
Nardole was funny. I liked him.
Yes, I liked Nardole in it, yeah.
So the characters, like you say, I agree with you. The characters and the performances were like the saving grace, if you like.
Oh, big time.
Because they were enjoyable to watch and so on. But the whole kind of it's difficult because it wasn't a bad watch. That's the thing. It wasn't
not at all.
Do you know what I mean? It's, you know, you and I sometimes when we see a poor episode, I mean, there isn't any Doctor Who, in my opinion, that's that terrible that you would turn it off. So it wasn't like that where you would think, you know, where you're thinking, this is just absolutely terrible. I just can't watch it. It was an enjoyable watch. You know, it was a decent ride, if you like. But it just, the substance wasn't there, if you know what I mean. It just had no, I don't know. I mean, it's very hard to describe this one.
You've hit the nail on the head there, mate. The substance wasn't there, because I agree with you. I'll quite happily sit and watch this episode. It is not bad in that sense. It's very watchable, but it is just the fact that when you think of it as the sort of final in the three-parter, it just feels like they had so effortless. Like there's no. You know, they had all those brilliant strands they could have brought together, and Toby Whithouse has just literally done nothing with it at all. You know, he's got the brilliant monks, he's got the whole Doctor thing going on, and there's just so much in there that he could have used, and he just didn't use any of it. Yeah, but you're right. Yeah. It's a perfectly. I don't hate it. I could quite happily stick it on and watch it, and I would just say, that's a average episode of Doctor Who. Yeah. You know, that's nothing good or bad about it. It's just there. But yeah, just disappointing.
Yeah. It's a bit like going to a convention and paying 45 quid for a photo with somebody and getting there and finding that they haven't got decent photographs. All they've got is these blurry,
pixelated
photos. And you think
1990s printed. Yeah.
And you think, no, this isn't what I paid for. I wanted quality because, I'm investing something in it. And in this, we're investing our time into watching it. And, as fans of Who, sometimes I do flip between, what side of the fence I'm on with this. But there is a part of me that thinks, well, we shouldn't demand or expect anything from TV programs. It's down to us to say, well, I like it or I don't. I'll watch it or I won't. And it's not up to us to say to them off. It's you have to provide us with the most amazing thing all the time because you can't please everyone. So on the other hand, sorry, it's like, well, come on now. You've been doing this for a while. You speak to fans regularly. You're out and about all the time. Surely what fans are looking for, and I know you've got your own ideas about where you want to take the show, but come on, you've got to do something else now. You can't just have these sort of convoluted storylines with no substance that don't really go anywhere. And then at the end of it, expect like a huge round of applause the world over. It's like, I don't know, it just feels like, when before Series 9 went out, we almost made the mistake of just completely writing it off before we'd even seen any episodes, because...
Series 10, you mean? This series.
Sorry, this series, yeah, sorry. Yeah. Series 10. Because we thought to ourselves, right, we're all hyped up about old Chibbers. We can't wait to get stuck into what he's... Because we were so... we were borderline just miserable with the Moff stories and his, where he was going with things. And we thought, Series 10 is going to be awful. We wrote it off. We thought, come on, bring on Chris Chibnall. It's going to be amazing. And then when Series 10 kicked off, we were like, this is great.
Yeah.
The Moff finally gets it. He understands what, makes great Who episodes. And, he's obviously spoken to Russell T Davies. So he now gets, character interactions and dialogue. And he knows this is awesome. And then you get to these episodes and you think, oh, what happened?
Yeah, I think that's why I kept thinking, what has happened? And I was pretty much, I don't know about you, but I was with the episode up until the regeneration, really. I was getting quite sort of sucked into what was going on. And then I don't know if you agree with me here, but that once we got to the scene with the fake regeneration, I felt that was the biggest middle finger Stephen Moffat has ever given us. I really felt like he was just saying, yeah, take that. Did you? I mean, I thought, like the doctor's laughing at Bill saying, sorry, was that a bit too much? Like, I honestly think that was Stephen Moffat speaking through the doctor to the viewer. I think he was really just saying, yeah, there you go, take that, I don't know, how do you feel about that fake regeneration? Were you like me? Did it once it turned, he just started laughing and said it was all a joke? Did you think, yeah, I knew that was going to happen?
Yeah, well, I didn't know what to think. I was sort of in shock for a few seconds afterwards, because I thought, what have I just seen here? I need to sort of clarify this in my own brain before I move on any further. What have we just seen? Have we seen a regeneration properly? Which I don't think we did, because he looks the same. Or has the Doctor somehow managed to fake a regeneration? Because afterwards, didn't he say that they were meant to replace the gun with blanks or something?
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of humour straight after it. Yeah,
and the guy he was speaking to was like, no, I didn't. So does that mean that the Doctor was actually shot?
And I think it's a different gun. I think he was just saying like he'd forgotten, like one of the guards had forgotten to do it, but he was shot with blanks. This is the way I took it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I wasn't sure at all. I thought, and then he does this fake regeneration, but it looks obviously real. But I didn't know the Doctor was capable of doing that. It just seems like out of character, whichever version of the Doctor we're talking about, in any classic Doctor or any Doctor we've seen before. They've all got the different personality traits. That doesn't seem like the sort of thing that any Doctor would do to me.
And it's this inconsistency as well, isn't it, about what the Doctor can and can't do with regeneration. Like, he couldn't regenerate his eyes back to sight, but he can do just a blast of regeneration for a laugh.
For a laugh, yeah.
I don't know. It just seemed it seemed like it was just literally put in there so they had something to put in the trailer to get people buzzing, I think. The way I look at it is, my biggest problem with it actually is that I cannot see Bill shooting the Doctor. There was just the build up to that just didn't feel right to me at all, because of her character. Because right. Bill so far has been so is the word pacifist? Am I using the right word there? She, when she sees somebody who's been killed or whatever, like the guy who was dead in the spacesuit, and she was like, can we lie him down? And it's just not in her character. I get
Right.
that she's supposed to have been 6 months or whatever, doing what she's been doing, and maybe she's toughened up a bit, whatever. But I cannot see Bill being pushed to that extreme of shooting the Doctor so casually, let alone firing 4 bullets into him. I was just thinking, I just don't think Bill would do that. It's literally there to give this plot device of the Doctor doing the regeneration for a laugh. I know he's doing it to test Bill, and all that. I get that, but I just couldn't see her doing it, mate. And I had a big issue with that. I didn't like the fact that Bill could be pushed to that extreme where she would fire 4 bullets into the Doctor thinking they were real. I just didn't like that idea at all. It didn't ring true to Bill's character to me, especially when it's then thrown away in a heartbeat of just being a joke. But the other side of that, and this is the bit that probably people won't agree with me on, is I quite liked the humour that was written directly after it. So I did honestly think it was just the Moff having a real sly dig at us, but I actually thought the dialogue was quite funny. Although presumably Whithouse wrote it, but you know what I mean. I did actually find the scene directly afterwards of him saying, it's just because Capaldi's playing it so well, and he's so smug with himself, isn't he? And he's like, to Nardal, was that good? I thought it was a funny scene. But I was sort of sat there thinking I shouldn't really be enjoying this because I'm actually quite annoyed, but I am actually finding this quite funny.
Well, that's what we said earlier, wasn't it? It was the performances. So not necessarily the story or what was going on. It was the performances that made it a good watch. I mean, I will admit with you, I did find it quite funny. There was, when he's saying, was that good? And he's like, well, the regeneration was a bit much. And then when Bill finds out it was all a setup, she's like, I'm going to kick the we had that.
She said it again, didn't she?
We almost had a swear in Who, but it was covered up nicely. And then Capaldi's in there, he's like, oh, come on, we got the
band
back
together. Yeah, I loved all that. I did. I really like that side to his Doctor as well, where he sort of thinks he's being really funny, and you're thinking, actually, you're being a bit of a wally, but you think you're funny, and that's quite charming. I really like that side to his Doctor when we get to see it.
It was, I think it was just... I think just the fake regeneration and the fact that the Doctor did that and then had a good old laugh. I'm not sure. I just don't. I like the bit afterwards, like you. The humorous side of things, but I don't know. It just seemed weird to have the Doctor faking his regeneration and it doesn't seem to gel with the consistency of the series so far either. Like you mentioned with Bill, you didn't think that it was in her character to shoot the Doctor.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, I thought this as well, because earlier on in the series, it might have even been the pilot or the one after, where Bill was asking the Doctor about regeneration and so on, and he got really cagey about it and really quiet and didn't want to even talk about it at all. You can see him sort of shut down immediately and then just change the conversation. So earlier on in the series, he clearly has a bit of a feeling or something about regeneration that he doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't want anything to do with it in front of Bill anyway. But then here we are in this episode, and he's literally, doing it right in front of her and then having a laugh afterwards.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
So it doesn't, in terms of where we've been with the Doctor, it doesn't seem to... Maybe there's a larger reason for it. I mean, I think that he wasn't supposed to do that because Nardal was quite surprised. He was like,
"That's true, yeah," because Nardal's like, "It was a bit much."
Yeah, so maybe he was just in the moment sort of thing. But it didn't seem to fit with how we've seen the Doctor up to that point. But then again, like you say with Bill, it doesn't seem to fit with her either. So. These are the things that I mean when I say it feels like a Moff thing, because we had that all throughout Series 6.
Inconsistency.
And most of 7, actually, where things just didn't seem right and click together. And So.
Also, Bill doesn't know, as far as we know, Bill doesn't even know what a regeneration is, unless the Doctor sat down and talked to her when, off screen that we haven't seen, but she wouldn't even know what was happening, would she? But no, I mean, it is the fact that she shot the Doctor that I'm, out of that whole thing, that's the thing I'm most uncomfortable with, because I think Bill's been a really good role model this series for lots of reasons. I just think she's been a really good, strong character, and I just didn't like the fact that she would fire 4 rounds into the Doctor for whatever reason. And the reason we have in the episode is that she thinks because he's joined the monks that they don't stand a chance of defeating them, so she's got to kill the Doctor. That just does not add up to me. It just does not compute that she would fire that gun. She might sort of think she's going to, but I just can't see her pulling the trigger like she did. I didn't feel comfortable with that at all.
Yeah, it does seem strange, doesn't it? Okay, so there was some good things though.
Yeah,
in the episode there was some good stuff. So I really like the style. I know you said the production wasn't that great.
Well, the statues look bad, didn't they? We got all these statues. They look terrible.
Yeah, but I did like the kind of style it was done in. So you did have these like moments where there was just 1 or 2 frames that flicked up, and it was the monk with the truth symbol and stuff. So it was like that propaganda, sort of continual brainwashing thing, and
brainwash.
Yeah, it popped up now and then. So I quite like that style. That was well done. And I liked how how you did feel like the population was already sort of under control.
Because it was a good start, wasn't it, when that woman was dragged out, and very much like what's the Cybermen episode in series 2 where they burst into the house and tread on the photograph frame. It's so similar to that.
The Age of
Steel, is it? No, it's not. I can't remember now. Listeners will know what I'm on about. The final of series 2. So I thought the beginning was really good. Like you said, all that about bringing the fact that we've got a few people that are not brainwashed, that are forming these little groups and, rebels, whatever you want to call it. That is the other thing I don't get is why are Bill and Nardole, well, Nardole maybe you could say because he's a robot or whatever he's supposed to be, but why is Bill not affected? Because she made the deal. If they're going to make sure anybody's brainwashed, it's going to be Bill. So how come she's just wandering around not affected by it? Surely the monks would have made sure she was, the key person under,
Yeah, true. It's a strange one because, and it was good also to see Bill's kind of an immediate sort of process of going through it. I like how the brainwashing stuff is trying to do its thing, and she's working hard against it, and she conjures up the image of her mum. Is that
why she's not affected? Actually, yeah, because we have had this underlying theme of her mum, haven't we, throughout the series, which has clearly been sort of leading up to this, I suppose. So maybe that's why, because she's got this thing that she talks to her mum, and which ultimately defeats them at the end. So perhaps that's why. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think she was the one that asked for the consent. So I think it's her brain sort of power that's sort of creating this whole thing. She's like the catalyst, if you like, which is why it has to be her at the end that forces her own true memories and thoughts about her mum into the alien, the monk thing that's putting out all of the signals from the statues and stuff. So I think that's why it has to be her to do that, because she's the one that created it all.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think the image of her mum and that memory, of just pure love and all that stuff, I quite like, and it's a bit soppy, but it's quite a nice way of, of everything not being wrapped up, because I don't like the reset button thing, but it's a nice way of doing that.
Yeah, it's a different way of doing it.
And it was a nice scene at the beginning as well, when she's in the cafe and she makes her mum sort of appear next to her, and then we see Nardole's sort of
that was quite fun. Yeah,
bound in, and So and there was also the scenes with hold on, get my notes. There was also the scene with, or the scenes, should I say, with the infiltration bit, if you like, where the Doctor's trapped on the boat seemingly, and then they do this sort of like James Bondish thing where they sort of take a boat out to the thing, and they have got their fake papers, and they're doing the whole spy thing. That was quite cool. That was because at that point we didn't know the Doctor's allegiance with the monks, if it was real or not. He was just in the boat putting out these TV adverts and so on, which were really funny and creepy, by the way. So that was quite good, the way that was done. But it was just that scene where the fake regeneration, onwards. From there, it just felt a bit flat from that point.
I thought so, yeah. I mean, yeah, because then get the Doctor on the boat crashing into the thing doing the manic laugh as well, don't you? What was that about?
Yeah.
This crazy laugh.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It was good, like we said, it was a good watch. These things, it was good Doctor Who.
I like that. Cool. I mean, you mentioned Nardal and Bill there. I think they're working very well together, actually. Like you said, some good humour when he comes into the flat, and also on the boat bit you just mentioned as well. So some nice bits going on there. And then obviously Bill getting cross with him when he's in on the fact that she's like, you knew, and all that sort of stuff. So those two are working brilliantly together, actually, I think. You guys.
Yeah, I think they are. And I think
they make this episode very watchable, I think.
They do, yeah. And it's one of those things where I'm quite surprised that, because when we had a lot of the stuff with the Doctor and Clara, sometimes, well, quite often with most of the episodes with those two, often you'd come away thinking, Clara was a bit annoying in that one, or she was okay, but the Doctor was a bit goofy and he didn't really fit with the story, or, that sort of thing. But in this series so far, I know that we've knocked these 3 episodes a little bit. But one thing that it has been very cool is the consistency of the characters. If you take away just this odd scene with the Doctor fake regenerating and Bill, putting some bullets into the Doctor, if you take those bits away, the interactions between them though. So they have had this kind of band together thing going on quite well.
Yeah, I like that, yeah.
Yeah, so the way that Nardal is like, and I think they have, because initially we thought he was just going to be light comic relief, didn't we? We thought he was going to be a bit of a Disney character and just throw in these funny one-liners and so on. He has been quite an important part of the team. And I
like him. I think there is a closeness between the three of them, don't you think? Like the Doctor, Bill and Nardal, you do feel like they are friends and looking out for each other. And there's a bit of, it's like a real friendship because there's a bit of tetchiness sometimes, but, you can see that underneath it all they care about each other. And so I think that's, maybe that's what was missing from the Doctor and Clara stuff, is that she always seemed to be on par with the Doctor.
Yeah.
And you got that they cared for each other, but there seems to be, I don't know, there's a lot more, there seems to be a lot more friendship between these three. And they, in terms of that anyway. I think they're great together, these three. A really nice TARDIS team. Lucas throws in a lot of humour, which we expected, but it's actually working, if you know what I mean. I actually really enjoy him, really enjoy his humour in the episode.
Yes.
So it's not just like he throws in a line and I'm like, oh, rolling my eyes, or I actually do enjoy it when he's in a scene.
No, I completely agree.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that, we said earlier, this is not a bad watch.
No, it's watchable.
Yeah, but it just felt like it had no substance. That for me was at least one of the things that sort of kept it going, was the three of them. You can tell that they have formed this cool bond with each other. It's good to see. And one thing that was very cool to see was the Doctor and Bill when they were talking to Missy.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about Missy.
Oh, yeah. So I really liked Michelle Gomez in this. As usual, I thought she played Missy really well, as usual. But I thought the script was a little bit sort of weak for her, for the most part. I get it. I know that the Doctor's going through this thing where she has to be remorseful and she's trying to turn it around and not be this, murderous, villainous, person. But I felt that it was just a bit weak throughout. And then we had the scene where she's crying at the end. And, is she really crying about this? I don't think she is.
See, I'm a bit conflicted on the scene with Missy, because she seemed pointless to the episode, but I actually really enjoyed the scene with Missy because I just loved her performance. And I like the way she just blanked Bill. She just didn't sort of even acknowledge poor Bill, did she? So they've obviously taken it. Bill was obviously at first is thinking, how can you keep someone locked up like this? But then very quickly she sees that Mrs., not just any, nutcase. She's actually quite a nasty piece of work. So, very quickly, I think Bill's got Mrs. character. So I quite liked that. I mean, I quite enjoyed the scene. I think you're right. I just think Michelle Gomez was just given she's very good at being mad, but without sort of going too over the top. I mean, she does go over the top, but it works somehow. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like she's really scary, and I love the fact that you never know from 1 second to the next what she's going to do or say. So unpredictable. And she is over the top, but I love it. I mean, I thought she was I thought her and Capaldi together was sizzling on screen in that scene. I really liked it. But yeah, again, it didn't. I don't know. I was a bit conflicted because it didn't really sort of add anything. It was just sort of plonked in the middle to get from A to B, really. Like you said, the fact that she already knew the monks threw me a little bit. Because she seemed to know straight away what the Doctor was talking about, didn't she? But yeah, I don't know. I loved Michelle Gomez in it this week. Just the whole look, the whole crazy way she was being, and I don't know what's going on with the crying at the end. I don't know where we're going with that at all, but I don't believe it for a second. I liked the look of the room. It had the little gas fire in it. They were sort of sat near a gas fire at the end. And I thought, well, that's a nice touch, because I remember those fires. I thought that's a nice little touch. Apparently, Capaldi said he was really surprised to see it in shot, because they only brought them in because the actors were freezing cold in this disused building. He said, they weren't part of the scenery. So he said, I was like, when he was watching it, he was like, do they know they've left that in shot? Is that supposed to be there? But I thought it looked really nice. I thought it was a really nice little touch, them two sat around that gas fire. I thought it looked great. No, so I loved Missy in it, mate. I loved her in it. A very sort of shoehorned little scene, but I enjoyed it. I thought she was cool.
Yeah, she was cool. Yeah. And what about so there was? I just want to touch on Murray Gold's music.
Yeah,
I thought this one had a really cool feel to it. This one, it was one of those episodes where it could have very easily gone down the route of let's do big orchestral stuff. Let's throw in the Doctor's theme. I Am the Doctor from Matt Smith's era. Let's throw that in there as they're doing their thing. And but it went the other way almost. It was this very chilled out. I mean, there was a bit of that towards the end where Bill's going through the whole memory thing and she's broadcasting her memories out. But up to that point, it was almost like a chilled out Hammond keyboard sort of. It just wasn't like action packed and thrill ride stuff that Murray Gold does sometimes with these episodes. And I really, really liked it, and it really makes me really want them to just get these soundtracks released.
I know, I'm the same. I think it every week actually, because I agree with you. I'm loving Murray's music this series. Even though he does throw in the odd sort of thing that's been used 1,000 times, but yeah, I agree with you. I'm loving the music in this. I do think he's trying new things as well. I do think we're getting some different styles from him, which are really suiting the feel of the episode. So I'm the same as you, Matt. I'm just every week I'm sat there thinking, every time a good bit of music comes in, I'm like, when are they going to get those soundtracks out? Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you, you're saying about the bit with the screens where they're showing lots of clips, when Bill's taking over the whole mind thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you think it was a bit weird that they showed the real Winston Churchill instead of Ian McNeice?
Yes.
They kind of threw the continuity a little bit. I don't know if it's just one of those things that perhaps didn't occur to them at the time. That, Churchill bung that in, bit of ABBA, whatever they were throwing up on there, because there was all sorts, weren't there? But it did strike me as like, well, that's weird, because obviously that's William Churchill, but shouldn't we be seeing the William Churchill that we know? Do you know what I mean? Like, is that his name? Ian McNeice? I think it is.
It is.
Yeah, the guy who was in Victory of the Daleks. Yeah. So I thought that was a bit of a missed opportunity, maybe. I don't know. It just seemed a bit wrong. I don't know if you thought it.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because it did throw in a kind of a continuity thing. I mean, I don't think it's a huge thing. I think they were just trying to be properly factual about it, because the state of the entire world is in jeopardy. So, the importance of what they were trying to portray is there. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it, because when I saw that, I thought, it's Churchill, and I thought, because what popped into my head first was one of the covers for the Big Finish stories.
Oh right, yeah, Churchill years.
Yeah, so when for some reason I thought of that first, and I thought we've had Churchill in Who a little bit since it came back. So I thought, why didn't they use a clip of? And then it just went out of my head, and I thought, okay, well, never mind. But yeah, it is interesting that you say that. I wonder if many people have picked up on that and were bothered
because
by it.
We had clips of Weeping Angels and Daleks from other episodes, so it just seemed odd they didn't put if they want to put Churchill in, just put a quick shot from Victory of the Daleks in there. I don't know. It's probably just one of those little production things. I mean, it's not a bad day, but I didn't lose any sleep over it. Just thought, that was a bit strange. I'd have thought they'd have burned a clip in, but
yeah, that's what I thought. I thought, I'm not going to not lose any sleep. But
talking of production, just before we get onto our scores, I mentioned the editing, I think last week, being a bit sloppy. I thought the editing was a bit sloppy again this week. There were some scenes that just seemed to be, I was thinking, I don't know, it just didn't seem very quickly cut, or I don't know, it seems like sometimes the scene went on 2 or 3 seconds longer than it should, and I don't know, that's probably sounds ridiculous, thinking, well, what's 2 or 3 seconds? But there were a couple of bits in this where I thought the editing just seemed a bit off. I don't know if you felt that, because that's the second week running I've thought that.
Kind of. I thought they did a bit of a sloppy job for Extremis.
Yeah.
But then it went back to.
Oh yeah, it was Extremis, wasn't it? I thought.
Yeah. So for the last one, I thought they got back to sort of the normal, because Who's normally very well made. So yeah, I thought that they sorted it out, but I didn't notice anything too bad with the editing. But are you saying it was a bit?
No, it's nothing really, really bad, but it just struck me a couple of points just watching it, especially second watch. I was thinking, it's hard to explain, but sort of scenes where they're creeping around the boat, for example, so they might disappear around the corner of a corridor. So normally you'd cut as soon as they've gone around that corridor. But they were sort of, so for example, you get like a few more seconds after they've disappeared and you're just staring at a corridor and thinking, well, these scenes should have been tightened up a little bit.
Right,
I don't know. It may just be me, mate. It may just be me being too picky. But there was just a couple of bits like that where I was thinking, I suppose because I do editing on my laptop, I sort of see it through my eyes. I was thinking, well, I would have cut there. Why are we still lingering on the shot? There's like nothing happening, So there was a couple of little bits in this episode where I was a bit like that. Just thinking, well, I would have cut there. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, probably just me.
Well, if I know the Moth listens, so if you got any editing roles coming up,
yeah, I'm your man.
I've got a consultant right here. But no, I do agree. It wasn't as bad as Extremis, but
it wasn't bad at all, mate. Don't take me wrong. I just wondered if you'd sort of felt like there was a couple of bits where it's a bit sluggish, if you like. But yeah,
the interns obviously running the show.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to mention, mate?
No, that's it, buddy. That's it.
Before we crack on. Right, scores. Yeah. Scores. It's me to go first.
Cool.
And I am going to give... So let's give our rating for this and then the 3-parter rating as a...
Oh, okay.
Just for fun.
That's interesting, yeah.
So, The Lie of the Land. I am going to give this a 6.
I am also giving it a 6.
Okay.
Yes, I'm giving it a 6 as well. Yeah.
Okay, and for the quote-unquote loose trilogy 3-parter score, I will give it a 7. Overall. I'm
going to agree with you. Yeah, I was going to say I would really love to have said this was sort of an 8 or a 9. I thought that's where we were going with it. I thought it was going to be a lot stronger. But I've got to agree with you. It's a very watchable, but it's a 7. Didn't reach great heights that it could have.
Yeah, it had great potential.
Yeah.
To be but yeah. So a 6 from us. What did our lovely listeners think? Let's kick off with an audio review. This is Sammy Satine.
The very powerful and the very stupid have one thing in common. They don't alter their views to fit the facts. They alter the facts to fit their views, which can be uncomfortable if you happen to be one of those facts that needs altering. The Fourth Doctor in the face of evil. G'day, Gary and Adam. Sammy Satine here. So, The Lie of the Land. Missy cried. I've never seen the Master cry. I was caught between feeling shocked and feeling sorry for her. Also, Missy is the wise one in the episode. How did that happen? How did it happen that she's saving the world? Also, since when is regeneration a joke? Because that's what it felt like during that sequence. Also, love Nardal. He's awesome. Extremist, 8 out of 10. Pyramid at the end of the world, 8 out of 10. Live to Land, 8 out of 10. See you in for the Ice Warriors next week. Bye.
Cheers, Sammy. She loved it.
Yeah, I like the fourth Doctor quote as well.
Yes, very nice.
Very cool, very cool. Over on Twitter, Dread Sinister says, awful. Simply awful and embarrassing and a pitiful way to mark Capaldi's final season. It's a downward spiral from here.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Darren says, I know one thing, my missus doesn't like it. She has every series with me so far and said to me, this isn't feeling it. It's not Doctor Who.
Oh, dear.
For me, I say, why did the Doctor fake a regeneration? Bill wouldn't know anything about it, would she?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Another audio review. This is Joe Sweeney.
Hello again, Adam. Hope you guys are well. I thought I'd do a quick review of the Pyramid at the End of the World, as I wasn't there last week. Pyramid at the End of the World I thought was great, and it was a very good continuation from Extremis, and it was so much better. I thought Peter Capaldi, Pearl Mackie were brilliant. The Doctor's blindness and him getting his side back at the end, I thought that was executed very well. And Bill sort of had a big part to play. And well done to Peter Harness and Stephen Morphy for writing up this story. So I'll give a score of 8 out of 10. And The Lie of the Land was an underrated story. It didn't live up to my expectations. It started off well for the first 10 minutes, and then after that, the story started to drift away. The pacing and plot was weak. Bill was brilliant. I thought her dialogue between her and the Doctor on the boat scene was fantastic. And I just loved the Doctor and Bill together and their dynamic between them. However, the fake regeneration was pointless, and just to have, for the sake of of marketing and trailers, to build so much hype was just ridiculous. The monks was underused, and the potential for being an unstoppable force and being a huge major threat was wasted away. And Missy just had no importance or relevance to the storyline. But it was a bit odd that she's just having some regrets of the people that she killed. The conclusion of this episode was wrapped up too quickly, and the CGI was just bad, and the flying pyramid was just, again, ridiculous. So overall, it was a disappointed story of the Monks trilogy. So I'll give it a score of 5 out of 10, and I'll give the Monks trilogy a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10 for the lot.
Thank you, Joe. And yes, I agree. That flying pyramid. Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Right. Thank you very much, Joe. Over on Facebook. No, don't play with that. Don't play with that.
What's happening?
My cat has decided to.
Oh, the sun I can't see because the sun's on the picture. It's TARDIS, Gary's cat. Yay! She wants to be on. She wants to be on the podcast, mate.
Yeah, she thought now would be a great time to start.
She wants to put a comment in. Is what it is.
Maybe next time. She got the hump now. Anyway, over on Facebook, Jeff Waddle says a car crash of a finale to a trilogy. The three main characters are acting their socks off. And this was just Martha Jones, the missing year of wandering the earth redone. The Doctor waited 6 months for Bill to rescue him. What about all the people killed or jailed in that time?
Yeah.
The monks know Bill is their link to the world. Wouldn't they have been better locking her up to keep her secure?
That's what I said, yes.
Regeneration energy nonsense. Bill doesn't even know what that is. And what do the monks actually do? Why does the monk in the cargo hold not read Bill's mind when they can sense rebellion at random in streets?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
What a load of garbage. A great first episode, average second, terrible third, not a good trilogy. We've seen it all before. Back to the worst of the Moffat traits after a season of highs. 4 out of 10 for the trilogy, 2 out of 10 for this.
Oh, dear.
And I've knocked 2 points off for Love Saves the Day again.
Cheers, Jeff.
Ah, Jeff. Yeah. Jamie Ackley says, This loose trilogy, in my opinion, has been far too convoluted and contrived. I had really thoroughly loved every episode up to and including Oxygen. There were a complete freshness and genuine change of style, which I'd really appreciated. This last episode felt a little too similar to the Master taking over the world in Series 3. It's not awful, it's Doctor Who, it's always going to be pretty much the best TV, but this episode, a 7 out of 10.
Okay, fair enough.
Leslie Shergold. On first viewing, there hasn't yet been a Duff episode. Sure, on further viewings you can pick out the plot holes and things that don't make sense, but usually my second viewing takes place when I sit down with my 3-year-old and 6-year-old nephews, which bring us to what has become my biggest bugbear with Series 10. Where is the fun? The broad humour. I'm really upset that I haven't considered any of the episodes so far to be suitable viewing for them. Smile may be at a push, but the 20 minutes or so that we watched was just a load of walking and talking, according to my 6-year-old nephew, Jacob. Oh dear.
I do see where Les is coming from on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Where is the larger fun to be had in watching Who? Anyways, Dean Jones. When I initially watched it, I did like it, but the more I thought about it and giving it a second viewing, it did not hold up, unfortunately.
No.
Good ideas, performances were great, Pearl and Capaldi were brilliant as usual, and I'm actually warming to Matt Lucas's Nardole. The direction was good, the music was great, but there are major flaws that bring it down. The setup of the monks being on Earth very early on is very similar to the Silence. The fake regeneration was disappointing, and I was hooked. I know the Doctor has executed regeneration energy in other stories. The Angels take Manhattan, the which is familiar, but it's the execution and the marketing that makes it all the more frustrating. It makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense for Bill to end the rule of the monks, but the actual resolution makes little sense. Not a terrible story, but this trilogy of episodes had fantastic ideas and the payoff is let down. He gives it a 5 out of 10, the overall trilogy 6.
Fair enough, Dean. Yes, good points, mate. Yeah.
Another audio clip. This is Owen Daly.
Hello again, Adam. Hope you're both well and enjoying the show. Live the Land. Really, really enjoyed this episode. I thought the Monk trilogy got better every week, with Extremis being weak, Pyramid at the End of the World being kind of good but not great. But this one really hit the bar, as I love Toby Whithouse's writing, and he really made this dystopian dystopian world, which was made by the monks, and I love the idea of them implanting themselves into other people's brains, making them think that they've been there forever, as it's kind of like a bit of a reverse from the Silence, which I also love the concept of us not being able to remember them. These guys planted them onto us, and I thought it was a great idea. I thought the monks maybe could have had a little bit more to do with this episode, as I think they didn't have the necessary conclusion they deserved. They were kind of just in the background of the story. But it also gave Capaldi some great material to shine with, as I finally saw the 12th Doctor I wanted to see since last Christmas. As in the scene before he does the fake regeneration, he was just beautifully written, and it was just the Rebel Time Lord all over again. And I really missed that version of 12, because I don't really like the comedic 12. I prefer the dark, annoying, grumpy 12. Just talking about the regeneration quickly, I don't really mind, because I knew it was going to be fake. I didn't expect it to be that jokey. I wasn't too happy with the way it was. He was like clapped his hand and then started laughing, but I still see where they were going with it, and it was a great scene beforehand. And then my favourite part of this episode was when Nardole and Bill first interact with each other, and Nardole takes his hat off and goes, "It's me, it's Nardy." He calls himself Nardy, and I think that's what I'm going to call him from now on. So Nardy is great. Overall, love this episode, 8 out of 10. Thanks for listening and enjoy the rest of the show.
Oh, Owen loved it.
Yeah, somebody liked it.
Yeah,
cool.
Nardy.
Lewis Palmer says, I liked it, but I'd be lying if I said it was a fully satisfying conclusion. Don't like the reflection. It's kind towards this. I don't think reflection is kind towards this one, because as I began to think about the episode, I noticed more flaws.
Yeah.
For example, the regeneration was cool on a first watch, but thinking about it, it's actually quite a nasty move on the Doctor's part. CGI was also really terrible throughout the episode, with the worst offenders being the statues and the green screening of Bill's mum. This whole convoluted trilogy takes up 3 episodes of what was shaping up to be a good old-fashioned fun series, meaning we have only 2 episodes left before the finale, which will be filled with story arcs. However, I somehow enjoyed myself, so I give it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah. That's brought it home, isn't it? We've only got...
Crikey, I thought we had more than that. I thought we had 3... But we had 4 or 5 weeks left.
No, not many.
Let me consult our charts. So 1, 2... Oh, he's right.
Have we only got 3 episodes left?
We've got 3 episodes and then the finale.
Oh, and then the finale.
Yeah, so we've got 4. That's not a lot, though.
I know.
Crikey.
Anyways,
thank you very much, Christopher. Martin Arnold says, week ending, a real shame, the weakest of the series so far. Naldor returns with a Noriah word, despite being left choking on a cliffhanger. The Doctor is pretending to support the monks to get Bill's attention and force her to the point she ends up doing something utterly unthinkable by trying to kill him. Ending was weak, the monks just gave up and left, and the tired Moffat trope of companion saves the day is used again.
Yeah, that was annoying.
Yeah, didn't we have enough of this with Clara? Question mark. Enjoyable enough otherwise, if you're prepared to overlook some pretty lazy storytelling. Maybe a longer sequence than the trilogy was required. Yes, Jake Birtwistle. I knew there would be at least one episode in Series 10 that I hate, and here it is. I've got a lot of things written down about the episode, and I don't like how it's so lazily written, and the ending was rubbish and felt like Toby just hit a giant reset button. Goes on to say, I did like the acting in this episode, though, especially from Pearl. It's not completely terrible, but it is a very bad episode, and I knew that after all the build-up that Extremis and the Pyramid at the End of the World did, that even Toby couldn't wrap this all up in 40 minutes. This episode can be summed up in 2 words: wasted potential.
Yes,
5.5. Yes,
I agree.
Rob Kernock. Wow, what a great one. Story during the second half was a bit shaky, but the Martha Jones style part was amazing. The Doctor turning evil was great. Capaldi smashes that sort of stuff.
He does.
Moffat teasing a regeneration like that was cruel. Overall, I enjoyed it. Acting and cast were usual top form. Nice bit of Magpie also.
Oh, yeah, forgot about Magpie Electricals.
Yeah, 8 out of 10. Nice one, Rob. Miles McKenzie, I found this episode very enjoyable. Although the ending was slightly underwhelming, I think it's one of the best of Series 10. Love the TARDIS gang. Love Matt's line, it's me, Nardi. Gives it 8.5.
Okay, yeah.
Joseph Howarth, we've all had this build-up with the monks, all this set, and for what? Nothing, I tell you, nothing. What do we gain from all these episodes? That the monks were going to invade our planet, but it's okay because the Doctor and Bill saved the day? What a pointless subplot. Granted, for what it's worth, I did enjoy the first 2 parts of this 3-parter, but I honestly really wish the new series would stop making 3-parter episodes. It always seems to fall apart in the last parts. The monks were just wasted potential as villains and accomplished nothing at all. I rate this 3-parter 8 for Extremis, Pyramid 8, and this story a 3.
3?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Not happy. Jason Thayer, I liked it, but I was really hoping Sutek would be behind it all. It had all the trappings. Moffat, you like to throw in classic Who references all the time, so why not bring back one of the show's best villains?
Yeah.
But he gave it 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Canon Granger, I loved it, and Bill Potts was awesome. Paul Villano just says, naff. And lastly, Luke Allen says, wow, what a brilliant story. Perfectly wraps up the trilogy, and you can see how much the characters enjoyed it. Regeneration was obviously for the trailer. And who was the regeneration prank for anyway? Bill didn't know what regeneration was.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I love the story mostly, and did like the fact that Matt Lucas added a reference to his BBC Two comedy Pompidou.
Did he?
Apparently, that hurt me. That really hurt me.
Well, I think, yeah.
Overall, loved it, and definitely made up for the disappointment that was the Pyramid at the End of the World. 9 out of 10.
Did you ever watch Pompidou?
No, I've never. I heard of it, but I've never seen it.
You're not missing much.
Lastly, our last audio rebook. Here we go. See, that's done for Facebook, but our last audio clip is from Jay Kent.
Hey, Gary and Adam, hope you're doing well, or at least I hope you think you are. Now, Lie of the Land, goodness, it was a decent concept that surprised me with how it played out and how many twists and turns it had, which generally shocked me. The bits with Missy was actually really good, especially the last scene where we saw some development in her character. It was a decent concept that was played out well with good tension and good humour. The regeneration sequence made sense within context, but the whole effects was just unnecessary and obviously something just to put in the trailers. However, like all disappointing episodes, the ending really let me down. So, very much Lost the Time Lords-esque, Bill thinks of her mum and that just makes everything okay. And the monks don't have a plan B with their highly advanced simulations from Extremis, which, by the way, I see no relation to in either this or Pyramid, and the Ark could have coped fine without it. And the monks had no backup plan, they just run away. And then, very much in the Forest of the Night-esque, everyone forgets everything that happened. I enjoyed watching it, and I was looking forward to a payoff to this honestly dragging trilogy, but there was no payoff. It was just over like that. So due to a haphazardly put together ending, I'm having to give Lie of the Land a 5.5 out of 10. Honestly, despite me liking Pyramid, I'm glad this monk arc is over. Now let's get back to fun adventures somewhere else. See you next week.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, JB.
And I would like to say that I agree with that point.
Yes.
Let's get back to these cool, fun adventures that we've seen up to this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's done with the official stuff. Did you have anything through on your Geeks Handbag page?
Yeah, I had a couple. Yeah, Malcolm Preston says it's basically just a rehash of Sound of the Drums and Last of the Time Lords. Did have that feel, I have to say. Charlie Turner said it was good. He enjoyed it. 8 out of 10. Gives the overall thing 7.5. Luke East really enjoyed it. Lee Bruley, bit of an anti-climax, he says. Yes. Aaron Ball, incredibly disappointing, gives it 4.5. Paul, I think you mentioned earlier, just put hashtag yawn. Really didn't enjoy it. He also mentions the fact that the monks do have a very similarity to the Silence, which I would agree with. Dave Wakefield said it didn't live up to his expectations and really hated that Love saved the day. Kevin Mullen loved it. It says 1-word review, incredible. So he really enjoyed it. A lot of people just saying it didn't live up to expectations, really. Another guy who did enjoy it was Aidan Goosh, commented, said he loved it as well. And Patrick Sherwood said, great, but he's really looking forward to the Ice Warriors next week. So a bit of a mixed bag on the old Facebook. I'll just quickly do the Twitter poll this week, which was a bit more mix than we've had recently. So 14% said they thought it was poor, 23% said average, 33% said it was good, and only 30% thought it was excellent this week. So a little bit lower on the excellent this week, but again, still performing pretty well this series. I think certainly better than we'd first thought, like you said, when we were going into Series 10. So we're still rocking and rolling. We haven't had any Sleep No Mores or Forest of Nights yet.
Yeah, we haven't dived into that well.
Thank goodness.
Unhappiness.
Yeah, don't want to tempt fate. Although it's a Gattis episode next week. So.
Oh, yeah. So I was going to say, next week we could be back to form. We've got a classic monster making a comeback in a slightly different way that we've seen previously. We've never seen a female... Or have we? We haven't seen a female Ice Warrior before.
Not that I know of, no.
Not even in classic.
Someone will correct us if we have, but I don't think so.
Yeah. So, yeah, next week. What's the episode called? The Empress of
Mars.
That's right, yes. So that will be an intro. To be honest with you, I'm just thankful that there's no more interlocking archy trilogy type stories. We can just excuse the pun, we can just reset now and just enjoy a one-off adventure.
Yeah, let's get back to those. Yeah, just a bit of fun, I think, hopefully.
Indeedy. And I think we're going to do there for 145.
Okay.
Thank you so much, guys, for sticking with us and listening to episode 145. 145. We got some cool news. If you're a fan of Class, very sorry. Very sorry. Unless somebody takes over. Let's remember that the Beeb have not said it's officially gone. So somebody else could jump. Maybe the Moth could jump on board.
No, I think Nick Briggs is probably... Your man. He'll be getting them over to Big Finish. I shouldn't wonder.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ice Warrior helmets from the classic years found, restored. Good news. Yeah. And let us know if you pre-order the Series 2 Steelbook. Because I have. I don't think you have just yet. Did you say?
I haven't yet. No, but I will be.
And if you find it cheaper than 35 squids, not that we're cheapskates, but do let us know.
Yeah.
Head over to the website, www.bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk. You can look at all the stuffs on there. So every episode is on there. Plus it links off to the social stuff. If you want to give us a follow on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all that jazz, you can do so from there. And there's also a nice big button to subscribe to the show if you're an iTunes listener. Or if you're on Stitcher or something else like that, then just head over there. We're on most of the podcast apps and so on. Just do a search, you'll find us on there. That'd be great. If you're an iTunes listener, if you could spare us a minute for a review and a rating, that would be amazing, because that does help us. Yeah. Remember to check out Adam's channel, The Geek's Handbag. The Geek's Handbag.
Yes, I should be beavering away to get that vlog finished for you for a Collector Mania.
Yay.
So you can see Barrowman saying how much he hates the photo.
So do a search for The Geek's Handbag on YouTube and Facebook, and you'll find all of Adam's stuff on there. It's really worth a subscribe on Adam's channel.
Anchor.
Yes, when you got half an hour to spare, jump on there, have a look, and you'll find out that 2 or 3 hours have gone past.
Yeah.
Because all of his wonderful videos.
Oh, too kind. Too kind.
So next week we're looking forward to the Empress of Mars and reviewing that one, so look out for the Facebook and Twitter post for that. Send in your review, and until then, my name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And remember, Lonzy!